What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Ride and Dad channel, or welcome if it's your first time. Either way, very glad to have you. We're talking about a very near and dear to my heart subject today. It has to do with external breathers, it has to do with Trask, it has to do with a series of videos I've made. But before we get into all of that and I explain what's going on and I show you what we're going to do today, let us roll that beautiful intro.
Riding down a YouTube channel, it's the Riding Down a YouTube channel, it's the Riding Down a YouTube channel, it's the Riding Down a thing
Alrighty, now that the intro is done, we can get down to brass tacks. But it's early in the morning, and you know what? I need a cup of coffee. I wish there was some magical way I could just poof it into existence. Whoa, that worked pretty good. Check this out. A really cool mug that says the Ride and Dad logo and has a picture of the Ride and Dad. I wonder if it keeps things nice and cold or hot. Oh boy, that sure is yummy. Wow, it's really close to Mother's Day too. And also Halloween is coming up, and Christmas is coming up, and there's a really good chance you have a birthday somewhere in between those dates, and maybe somebody you know has a birthday. Wow, it sure would be cool if a mug like this was available to purchase for everybody. Oh wait, it is on the Ride and Dad merch store. Link in description. Alrighty, now that that is done, we're going to talk about the backing plate from Trask. So for those of you who have never watched my videos, I did an install video on the Trask Assault air cleaner. And then I also did a install video on the Trask Assault external breather kit. And then I believe I also did, I forget if I did 2 or 3 videos or whatever, but you guys have seen the video where I said Trask has lied about what they did. So for those of you unfamiliar, the old external back, or the old backing plate to the Assault air cleaner had holes there right inside, and your crankcase venting bolts would come through here, and they would have little holes in them, like banjo bolts pretty much, and the internal mist would vent, or the mist from the crankcase pressure would vent internally and be sucked back up. It's a very typical design. 9 out of 10 air cleaners have the same exact design. The aftermarket or the OEM Harley air cleaners have a similar design, but the same concept. It all vents internally, right? So the external kit from Trask originally came with just the spacers and some hoses. No catch can, no breather filter, and no anything else, right? So there was no way to completely block these holes off. For those of you who've seen my video, I talk about, and many of you have given me feedback as well on this, that Trask has told you the exact same thing, but Trask customer service says no, it'll flow the path of least resistance. It'll come through the bigger holes on the external breather kit. It won't get sucked back in there. But for those of you who have probably guessed, if you haven't seen my videos or guessed at the time even before, obviously that did not work. You have air sucking in from your intake here, so there's no way the oily mist and fluid is going to flow in holes that just gravity feed down with nothing pulling it there when you have a suction creating from here. There's just no way that's going to happen. So I reached out. Actually, sorry, I did a video and a DIY kind of fix about it that you guys saw me talk about the latest video on the Trask Assault, where I did like I tapped those holes internally, put set screws in there, and then put some gray RTV on top of that just to like double seal it up. And that's been working for about 200 or 300 miles. That's all I've had on it. Unfortunately, I haven't got a chance to ride that much, but it's been working great. It vents all externally. I put a breather filter instead of a catch can on it just for simplicity's sake, and it all goes in there externally. Nothing gets on the inside. Works perfect. However, somebody did say something that did give me a little bit of concern. They said that they did a similar thing. I can't remember if it was with Trask or not, but they did a similar DIY kind of fix for the internal holes, and over time, I think it was like 2 years or something like that, their screws just kind of, even though they used stainless or whatever it was, their screws just kind of crumbled and just deteriorated, and all the pieces just got in the intake, which is obviously not what we want for our engine. We don't want that floating around our pistons or anything. So that made me kind of nervous, but I knew I had a couple years at least to figure something else out. Cue the other people leaving comments on my video saying, hey, I think this is BS. I talked to Trask. I voiced my concerns, I talked about the video or whatever, and Trask is sending me out a new backing plate with 0 holes for the internal venting. It is supposedly the same venting, or the same backing plate that Trask uses with their turbo setups. For those of you who know, they have a whole turbo setup that you can put. It's a couple $1,000. It's also pretty sweet. But apparently this is the same backing plate supposedly that they use for that. I'm not sure if it is or if they've just created one without the venting holes, but whatever. People were saying that they were getting this and that Trask was redesigning their whole order system as far as the external breathing kit. So, of course, I had to see for myself. I actually called Trask and said, hey, I heard that you're doing this for people that have had this issue with the external breather kit not actually externally breathing and still venting to the internal whatever, and they said, yep, we'll send it out to you. I figured it'd be like a week or two or something like that. Same day shipping. It was out within like 3 hours, actually received by USPS, and to my door in about 2 or 3 days after that. It was USPS priority. So Trask did a phenomenal job with this. Now, I can't speak for the customer service that I received before because people were kind of rude to me in the past about the internal versus external breathing issue, and unfortunately I know that Trask customer service was kind of rude to some other people that were talking to them, so I'm not sure if those were just some bad seeds that were weeded out or whatever, or if there was a miscommunication or whatever, but I can tell you that Trask is doing the right thing. They're taking care of people that had the external breather kit previously, that bought it to externally breathe and realized that it did not externally breathe like the site and the product description is supposed to do. So they're taking care of us and sending us out a backing plate without internal holes, which is a foolproof plan. I mean, this is perfect. This is awesome. Now, I will also say if you go on the website, it says call to order. So I believe what they're doing is calling and saying, hey, do you want to partially external breathe or do you want it fully or whatever? And a picture of the backing plate is actually on that external breathing product page or whatever. So I'm not sure what they're doing when you call them, if you're saying, I don't want the backing plate, or maybe I'm not sure what they're doing, but they do have this. They realize it was an issue with the past. They're taking care of customers who have previously had the older version of it and did not get what their money, was supposedly supposed to be buying them. So A+ customer service on Trask, that's awesome. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has issues that they don't foresee happening or whatever. That's fine. Trask is taking care of us, like I said, so really good. So what we're gonna do today, besides me jabbing for a million minutes, is we're gonna go ahead and take the old part off. I'm gonna show you exactly the difference between the old style and the new style, which again is just the difference of the internal holes. Again, talk about what I did as a DIY fix to the old one, which theoretically should be okay. But like I said, it just kind of freaked me out. Even though I did use stainless steel, pretty good bolts, or set screws rather, I don't want the possibility of them deteriorating. So I'm glad that I do have this and I don't have to worry about it. The added +2 is on the stock one that comes with the Assault. It does have some kind of set screws here. I'm not really sure what they would be used for it, but this doesn't have it at all. So this is just a way cleaner look to begin with. It's all black, a very nice finish and everything. So we're going to take it off. I'll compare the two and put this one back on. Let's go ahead and get to it. All right, please ignore the mess that I have on the table. I'm in the process of doing like 6 different projects and 6 different videos, so whatever, it is what it is. All right, so this is the kind of comparison from old to new style, which again, this is supposedly something that they've had forever. It's just, this is what we're getting in this, this video and this install, okay? So the old one, you can see obviously there's oil and stuff because it's been externally venting, as it should. But the old one had holes all the way through here into where your crankcase breather bolts are, okay? And then it had this, and again, I'm not sure what the what this was for. This was always here. I don't know what that's for, but anyway, so I tapped this interior hole, put a set screw only about 1/8 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch, third maybe in there, not all the way because I didn't want it possibly to thread all the way through. So I stopped the threads, that far in, and then on top of that, put gray RTV sealant in there just in case. So this was the old one. It did have those holes, and like I said, again, it had this. This is the new one. Obviously, you can see there's no holes anywhere, and that external set screw is not there, which is just going to lead to a much cleaner look in general. What was nice also was they included new O-rings already installed on there, which you want it. On the back, there's O-rings on the front and back of the spacers, so those are spacer independent. They didn't come on this, and then there's this one for the actual intake hole that they did again pre-install as well. For those of you who are curious about the part numbers for whatever reason, this one says TM1023A and this one says TM1023T. And again, this is all for my Lowrider S. It's an M8 Softail 2020. So we're gonna go ahead back to the bike, install this. There are torque specs that Trask gives with their original Assault air cleaner instructions, which are very nice. I covered that in my first video, so I'm not going to cover that today. Go ahead and watch that if you want, or if you buy your own, you'll have it obviously in the instructions. But there are torque specs that they do include for all of this. All right, we're all done. Really easy to do. Again, Trask took care of its customers. It did the right thing. I'm really happy with this new backing plate. It's like a foolproof way. You don't have to worry about doing any DIY stuff. It's a call, so I'm sure they adjusted the price on their external breather kit now, including this, after they realized what was going on and people were unhappy with what was going on before with how it was set up and how it was labeled and everything. So, but again, Trask really did take care of us on this one. I mean, this backing plate, I'm sure they would normally sell it for probably at least 60, 70 bucks, possibly even like 100. It's a pretty stout piece of metal with some nice coating on it. I believe it's powder coated, but either way, it's good. Completely done external, 100% satisfied with it, very happy with it. If you haven't seen any of my videos, go and check them out. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I really do appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you check out my Instagram, send me a DM, let me know you're from YouTube. Please comment on this video. Go ahead and make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Turn on post notifications. Definitely give a thumbs up to this video. I think I definitely deserve it. And in case you didn't know, or in case you forgot, me and Motos and Mullets, we're taking a trip to the Tail of Dragon. We're gonna be there we're getting there on the 5th, leaving on the 9th, so we're gonna be riding 6th, 7th, and 8th. We're gonna be in that Blue Ridge area. We're staying close to like Murphy, North Carolina, but we're gonna be riding in the Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina triangle where they all mesh up, whatever. If you're gonna be in that area, or if you've never taken a trip there and you're just curious what it's like, whatever, I highly encourage you to go out if you can. It's an awesome area. Riding the Tail of Dragon, from what I understand, is way better and more enjoyable for people that actually know what they're doing Monday through Friday, because you don't get the weekend warrior crowd that barely rides their bike. So it's a lot easier and safer to enjoy, and I'm sure it's going to be less crowded as well. So, but yeah, tons of fun last time we went. I'm super looking forward to hanging out with him and getting some really good riding in. But yeah, July 5th through July 9th. So mark your calendars. Thank you guys for watching very much. Till the next time, guys, ride safe, have fun. Dad out.